Hi everybody! Happy Wednesday afternoon. It is 2 and I'm live. Hey Moose. No. My dog is trying to get into all my ribbon. I have that baker's twine sitting on the table and he just thinks that would be the funnest dog toy ever. Anyway, man, has it been busy or what? I feel like it's only like the first week in December, but it feels like I'm in full-on Christmas crazy. I hate that feeling. I don't usually feel all out of control, but this year, for some reason, I do. I just feel like I have a lot of stuff going on that I need to work on. So, yikes. Anyway, I didn't really plan too much ahead for today, but I did want to show you some cool projects using the Stamp of the Month set. This Stamp of the Month set is very interesting because it's one of those ones that is super real and it takes almost no coloring, which is perfect for December because, you know, Christmas crazy. Hi, Heather. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with me, but when I was working full-time, 4 days a week, I never felt as cramped for time as I do right now. It is totally illogical that I am behind. So weird. Anyway, I wanted to show you this Stamp of the Month set because I feel like Close to My Heart is knocking it out of the park with these really cool Stamp of the Month sets. And then I am going to give you a couple of updates too. Now, this is a sneak peek for January's. Interesting, they're kind of in that same sort of theme of the little critters, only it's a lot more playful. This one's got a squirrel that's realistic. This one has a squirrel that's more playful. This one has a bear. This one has a deer. And then trees. I love this little deer. I almost feel like these should have been flip-flopped but this would make nice winter cards too. Anyway, this is the one coming up. And so I wanted to give you that sneak peek. You should be getting your new catalogs in the mail. If you place an order anytime after like the 21st of December, you'll get the new catalog. But I'll be showing it, I'll probably be showing it right after Christmas anyway. Anyway, the interesting thing about this catalog, yeah, I like the January one a little more. I like the playful. I'm drawn to the cute, you know. So, this is a very weird thing that happened with Close to My Heart. So, I know that they're struggling just a little bit trying to figure out how to stretch the catalog across 3 months instead of 2. But over Black Friday weekend, Cyber Monday weekend, they sold out of so much stuff. People are buying online so much. So the paper pack for Freshly Baked, the paperback and sticker sheet sold out. You can still get the workshop. They're not going to reorder that one because they felt like it was so Christmas themed, and at this point, you know, when people get it, there wouldn't be very much time to work on Christmas projects, so they don't want to get stuck with a warehouse full of Christmas paper. The Christmas Story, same situation. The paper and sticker sheets sold out, and the workshop is still available. The card making set just sold out yesterday. I personally wasn't as excited about that one as I have been on some of the others, but now the one that's the shocker is the Cherish kit. So I bought the Cherish workshop, and my thought was to go through it layout by layout over a couple of lives and try to show, like, just put together some of the pages. But it sold out. I can't believe it. They sold out of everything. Sorry, I got to turn my light down a little. It's the glare. So they sold out of the paper pack, the sticker sheet, the workshop, the card workshop. I mean, they sold out. They expected to sell out of the card workshop just because they did not realize how this die cut was going to be so popular. And it's very, very beautiful. Like, people have been, like, really pushing it. So they reordered the paper and scrapbook workshop for Cherish. That will be ready on December 9th for ordering. What else is out? It is unbelievable. Like, some of the stuff, the train thin cuts are sold out. And of course, I told you last week that that cute holly stencil sold out. Bummer, but not a surprise because you saw how beautiful that is, and it's been very popular. So we have another month left in this catalog, and Cherish is kind of I have a lot of different things I want to show more than Christmas. I'm Christmas crafting for sure, but I don't want to just focus on Christmas every single time. I like the winter stuff too. So I just wanted to tell you that with that catalog. Let me put it aside a minute. The other news is Margie is having her New Year's Eve virtual crop, New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, and I agreed to do a class, and I'm going to use the Flower Market paper and cardstock. And if you would like to scrapbook along with me, just purchase those two things. Anybody who purchases the paper and the cardstock from me, I'll probably send them a little goodie, kind of like I did with the last class I did, the fall class, because I just think it means a lot if I haven't even shown you the layouts and you're willing to buy the paper pack, because I haven't put them all together, and she only gave me, I want to say it was, Margie was an hour and a half. That's not a lot of time to make too many layouts. So you're going to definitely have paper left over on that, but we will be making as much as I can fit in to that time frame. In other news, the Stamplistic group has a tag swap every year that you can participate in. You can make tags using any product, any bling, any design, anything you want, and you just send in a bunch and get a bunch back. And I got a lot back, but these are my favorites, and I just wanted to go through them really quick before we work on the stamp of the month. So this girl, she is from Richmond, Texas, did these champagne flutes, and she actually sent 2 tags. The other tag had a single flute. I love the bling. I love how she added bling on the bubbles. It's just so pretty. Anyway, some of them are not my style. Like, it's not that I don't like the gnomes. I just think the gnomes, there's a lot of them out there. And so when I see the gnomes, I kind of, oh no, they have to be really cute to catch my eye. And in the new catalog, there are some gnomes that caught my eye, and I bought them. So I don't want to be like a hypocrite, but these have a lot of bling. This is really a heavy tag. I don't get the flowers at the bottom. If it wasn't for that, I would love this tag. But what I want to show you is that she used liquid pearls around the edges instead of other types of bling, and look how that adds to it. It really is cool. Glitter over the beard. I thought that was really neat. Okay, and this one, it looks like a real simple tree tag, but doesn't the glitter add a lot to it? And it makes it very blingy. And she cut out each layer of the tree in a different kind of paper. And then the top 2 layers are popped up. I just thought, super cute. I know, Gina, if you want this gnome, I will send this to you. Gina's a gnome freak. Oh, there's the other one I was telling you about. This is the girl sent 2 tags in her. I kind of like the single one just as well. These tags were made by people all over. This person is from Anaheim, California. And this person was in New Rochelle, New York. I love the little Nutcracker, the magic of Christmas. It's so cute. This is a Tim Holtz die cut. I just bought it in a Black Friday sale, so I haven't even had time to mess with it. And then these little greeneries, you know, I have an old Martha Stewart punch that makes greenery just like that. And I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. And this is made by one of the people who work at the store. You know, you can get these die cuts of these coffee cups all over, like every company makes one. And this is from Pennsylvania. This is really cute, cute little tag. I'm probably going to use some of these on some of my packages. This one I thought would be a really neat card front because the window, first of all, you know, with the scene behind it, makes it special. This was a lot of work. And then she put, this is popped up, and then there's these cute little holly berries on the top, and then the presents are each wrapped in ribbon. I don't know if those are stickers or if this person made them, but my goodness, that's a lot. And then the little tree has different layers, so 1, 2, 3, 4 layers that are just on top of each other, making it super dimensional. And she wrapped it in this, I'm just like, woo. So this is from Michigan. I really love this one because, you know, I'm a bit of a poinsettia freak. But this one has a tag that pops out of it. And this one is from Maryland. And just really pretty. I think that would be a really neat card front. I love the shape of this. I love how it looks. There's a tag that comes out with a blingy shimmer tree, and excuse me, I love the jingle bells and the wrapped bells. This snowman is so cute, and wouldn't that be easy to do? It's just a circle shaker with a couple of circles on top, and then a little wired, this is like that wired stuff you get on a spool, like at Michael's or Joann's. Cute, cute, cute. Love that. What a great idea. And then we have this one that looks more like a scene of the shape of the bell, and then with the snowman on it. I think that's really cute. That's from Ohio. I love this one, and I thought it was a shaker because it's thick inside. It's obviously, it's dimensional. So on the inside, it's embossed paper on the back, so you can kind of see the embossing. And then there's foam tape, and inside of that there's a layer of trees, a layer of snow, and then the snowman is actually on the top. Very cute. But I thought it was a shaker. And then this is another one of my, this is probably my favorite because I love that, this is called Miri Lava paper. It's a specialty paper. And then she used the silver a silver snowflake on the front, and look at the tassel. I mean, just everything about that screams awesome. And so, yeah, I have several of these that I'll probably keep forever, and a few I'll probably use for gifts or card fronts. I have a lot more than that. A lot. Anyway, today, what do I want to work on? I want to show you the stencil pack. This is stencil pack number 1, and I put it on cardstock because it is easier to see on camera when it's on cardstock than when it's just plain like that. So basically these are 12 by 12-ish stencils, and you get a variety of things on each 12 by 12 sheet. So this is summery, so you have like tropical leaves, you have waves, you have this little design here, which could be a banner, a ribbon atop of the waves. You have some seashells, you have sunrise, sunset, and you have hello sunshine. I thought this one's really cute. The one I would use the most, I would use these two at the top the most. Anyway, so there's one. The second one is a travel type theme, and you get the map and the words. There's a suitcase. This is the background of the suitcase. So you could do the suitcase in this or this. There is a scenery or a silhouette of a city, and then the geographic map. And then the one we're going to work on today. All right, where did I put it? Hold on a minute. I set it aside because I was messing with it and it was wet. So let me move these. Ugh. You guys should see all of the stuff that I have everywhere. Oh, I guess I need my black cardstock back. Okay, so here is the one we're going to work on today. So we have wood grain, explore, grass, arrows. You have these trees. This is like detail for the trees, and then you have this little travel thing. Now, I just want to tell you that my table is only so big, and so I know that a lot of people will use these just as is, but for me, I've been using them. You can tell I've been using them, but I like to cut my stencils apart because, first of all, it makes storage easier for me, but also because I'm a messy scrapbooker, and my table, just setting this down and moving it around, I am very likely to set this into something messy. So I'm just going to cut these out real quick. All right. So these are the ones that I'm kind of interested in today, and these I'll mess with later. You don't have to sit here and watch me take my stencils apart. Okay, so let me get rid of this black background. I know you can't see those right now. So there's a couple of things I want to do. First of all, just to prep and then we'll mess with the actual stamp set while it's drying. So first I want to show you, I have a bunch of card bases. So I just cut, these are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, just like standard card base size. Set those aside, and then I cut these 4 by 5 1/4, so they'll nest onto the cardstock and make, you know, a border on your card like this. And I like having a stack of these so that I don't feel like each one is quite so precious. If I screw something up, I screw something up. You know what I mean? So the first thing I want to do is, I know this is just a scratch paper pad, but I am going to bring in some scratch paper on top of it. And on this paper, I am going to do some blending. I have a couple of different blues, Bluebird and Harbor. And I have my blending brush, and I'm going to go into the Bluebird, which is the lighter color, tap it off a little bit, and just do a real light blending on this cardstock. What I'm doing here is I'm making a sky. And I just want to make it somewhat even. It doesn't even really matter, to be honest. Okay, now I'm going to go into Harbor, and this ink is quite a bit darker, and I'm just going to do kind of the edges. It just gives the sky a little bit more of a kind of a nighttime feel. But I want a really light version of it, so I don't want to be too crazy with it. So what's everybody doing to get ready for Christmas? What, shopping? Shopping done? I dragged Steve out shopping with me the other night, and I think we're pretty much finished with shopping. Finally. We don't really even have that many people to shop for, but everybody wants something really unique and different, and so it makes it a challenge to find it sometimes, even online. So we have been shopping a lot online, but I don't get into the Christmas spirit until I get into the stores and I see the decorations, and I start feeling that energy. I need to feel that energy. Okay. Sorry, I had to get a drink there. Now we're going to bring in our stencil. Now, this is the stencil of the kind of bare trees. I hope you can see that. There you go. So this is the stencil of the bare trees. And then this stencil has like the detail that go over the trees when you ink it, and I'll show you that in just a minute. But because this takes a minute to dry, I want to kind of show you how this works. I have my texture paste, and you know, texture paste, I know, messy, but it only takes a minute. I have several jars of this because I go through it, and I keep saran wrap over the top of it because it really does keep it kind of softer and wetter and ready to use, where sometimes I think the air gets to it and then it makes it kind of hard. And then when you open it, you just need to stir it up a little bit and make sure that it's nice and soft. It's like the consistency of like peanut butter, I would say. Okay, so we're gonna line up our trees. This is what I'm talking about. If I had a big stencil, I have issues. I have issues with keeping everything out of my stuff. So I'm just gonna take my palette knife and I'm just gonna rub it over the stencil. Well, I should tape it down, to be honest, but I'm gonna put it just like this. And each tree is going to get, I'm going to catch the branches and the I'm going to try to make it nice and smooth. So I rub it across and then kind of wipe it off. Rub it across and wipe it off. Just like that. Okay. So once you have that done, put your excess back in the jar because it's still good. I got a little ink on it. I don't care about that. And then I keep like a wet paper towel nearby to wipe off my palette knife because, like I said, I'm a sloppy worker, and so I have to clean things off as I go, or else I will have this stuff everywhere. And then I put my cling wrap back on, and I kind of pat it in there so no air is getting to it. And it does make it a little trickier to open later because I'm adding an extra layer, but it really does keep it good for a long time. Now here's the other part. All right, now we're gonna raise this up and you get this gorgeous raised effect from the texture paste. Now I'm not done with that yet, but real quick, I'm just gonna wipe off my stencil. Now you can, if you don't want to buy stencils, you can make your own. You can, if you have a Cricut or a die cut machine, you know, almost anything can become a stencil. But it's a good idea to use a heavy cardstock or a heavier material to make your stencil. All right, this is not perfect, but better than it was. What is on that? See, I've used this a few times, you can tell, right? I'm gonna let that dry for a moment. All right. Now, while my texture paste is still wet, I have this jar of glitter now. Glitter, not for everybody. I know, it is a mess. That's why I do it on paper, and that's why I grabbed the extra extra scratch paper. Okay. So, I'm tapping it off. And you can see where the glitter stuck to that texture paste. I'm trying to make it so you can see the shimmer on it. It is super shimmery. So in person, it is like glistening trees. I'm not really sure how well you can see the glistening, but it does, it works really well. Now I'm going to take all this glitter, try not to make a big mess, put it back in the jar. That scratch paper goes into the garbage. My scratch paper is, you know how I print labels to mail to people all the time, and it only uses half of a page, so this is just, you know, printer paper. Okay, I'm going to set this aside to dry for a moment while we do the rest. Let me just shake this off a little bit. All right. Okay, well that was fun. There's that one. Now the other thing I wanted to do is I wanted to take one of my brown bases, and you can do the light side or the dark side, and I wanted to make like a wood grain kind of look. Let me get my color here. Sorry, I didn't get out. Like I said, I hadn't really planned ahead very well. So the idea with this is to either do like a tone on tone or a dark on whatever, but this paper is espresso paper. I'm going to try it with just espresso ink, and I normally would tape this down, but I'm just going to try it without taping. Might be a mistake. So they've come out with all kinds of really cool products for people who stencil all the time. And one of them I've seen is like an ink pad holder. So your ink pad doesn't jiggle around when you're, and you don't have to let go of your stencil. And use two hands to hold your ink pad. All right. Ta-da! So, there's that. Wow, you know, I like how that looks. I think that looks pretty neat. I think that turned out really nice. All right, so there's that one. And then, again, I'm gonna wipe off my, sorry, making a big mess. I have a rag or whatever here. I just buried it. And you can see what happens when that water goes through the stencil when I'm trying to clean it. It gets all over my scratch paper. But I like how that looks, so I'm going to set that aside for a moment and we'll make another background. Let me get rid of this wet paper. I'll just do it like that. Okay, now our next stencil, I want to show you what the trees look like without the stencil paste. Make sure it's dry. I've made such a mess of everything. Okay, so I'm going to use, I think I'm going to try to make it really soft. Let me see how let me wipe off this brush I used with espresso. Yeah, that'll work. And I want to try to use it with mink. Mink is a very, very soft color, and sometimes that'll work and sometimes it won't, but here we go. So I'm just going to line that up a little bit. And like I said, normally I would tape this down. I think I'm gonna like how this comes out. I like having all these card bases ready to roll. Okay, ooh, look at that. Pretty. I love it. Now the other thing that, the other part of this stencil, it's hard to see. It is just, you know how birch trees have lines on them, like a paper birch kind of has lines. So that is kind of what we're doing here with the second one. And so it takes it's a little trickier to line up, and stencils are not super precise. Like, you know, you're not going to get this perfect image every time. But I do want to show you what that looks like with the lines. And this is espresso on top of the mink colored trees. Okay. Ooh, wow, wow, that's really cool looking. And you could, you know, I've seen really soft layouts where people will do these kind of trees and then put like a little red bird into the trees or whatever. So that's a cool idea. Maybe we should try that, like make it into just a little bit of a winter scene. And I got a little bit of an edge on it, but that's not that big of a deal because it's easy for me to chop that off. Now, to get ready to make our winter scene, what I like to do is I like to put everything on blocks, and I like to just stamp like crazy. And so let me just show you a few things here. I've got like just a piece of paper. I stamped the fox already in paprika. And I just want to kind of show you one idea for coloring that you can do. Let's see, which color do I want to use? If I use espresso ink with my deer, okay, and I stamp him down on my cardstock. And then if I hurry, I know I don't have to hurry that much, but I can just use a water brush and let me just get a little water on it, and I can just do a little bit of water onto that espresso ink, and it will kind of run a little bit. And so what you end up with is a little light shading on your deer without hardly any work. So that's one way that you can kind of shade that deer a little bit. Now, I don't have any hesitation to like take a, you know, my water brush and use my ink pad in the lid and just add a little extra shading. And I kind of like the way that those colors look. Like that. And so one thing about these is they don't seem to take much, they don't need very much coloring, and then you can just cut them out. So that's what I did here. I already cut it out. I didn't think you'd want to watch me cut, but I did do a bunch of little birds. I did some rabbits. I did the fox. I have several of the deer. And the colors that I used are primarily espresso, toffee, and mink. So that's just for kicks. That I went ahead and just cut these out so they were ready. Some of them, not all of them. And I could shade these a little bit more and then cut them out. But I want to show you, okay, let's look at this. Now, I have some scraps of white, and I've had these scraps sitting around for a little bit. And one of the things that's kind of fun to do is to just take this and make squiggly, irregular lines like this. And then you can use that as your snow at the bottom. And you don't have to use foam tape to raise it up. But if you do use foam tape, what's nice about that is you can have your deer partway in the snow. Like, he doesn't have to be completely kind of on top of everything. He could be a little bit behind it. if that makes sense. So it's up to you how you make that work. The other thing on this is shimmer. So you could use the glue and then a little bit of glitter, or you can use a shimmer brush on the snow. And it's okay for it to be a little uneven because it'll look more natural. So I'm just gonna glue that on. And now my trees have snow behind them. And then you can also add a little bit, you know, in the trees themselves. So, and this is just adding a little bit of shimmer brush to those branches. I know that it's clear and you probably can't see it at all, but from my view, it's very visible, okay? Now the other thing is I cut out a couple of little birds, and I love the idea of, you know, putting a little bird in the tree. I love having the little rabbit down here. I just think these are really soft and they're really pretty. So this rabbit is stamped in mink. Look how pretty that is. Now I could trim this down. Let me go ahead and do it since I've got my cutter just off screen here a little bit. So let me just trim a little down on this so that we can really see that wood grain. And look how pretty that card is, where you can see the wood grain behind it. Pretty. You could even cut the top off and make this like a card that goes sideways. I may do that, and then put a message. So I also wanted to show you how I do my messages. I love this, by the way. Hold on a minute. I'm going to cut that down so that I can put it together, because I really like it. All right. Ah, that's just beautiful. Wow, 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 wow. Sorry, I just keep staring at it. It's a sickness, right? All right, so there is that. And then, you know, this stamp of the month has wishing you lots of, and then it says joy or love. It says thinking of you, thanks a bunch, wishing you were here, best wishes. So it's got a lot of potential messages there. I want to kind of show you how I stamp the messages, because there is a little bit of a trick to doing it. So I'm going to make my camera closer. I hope that helps. And then I'm using the grid on my paper here, and I'm going to line my paper up on this grid so that it's straight. It has a straight edge. I'm gonna let the line show just a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. So it's straight there and straight there. And then I have, what do I have? I have this this message that says wishing you lots of. Okay, so let me get out my espresso ink. and I'm going to ink it up. Now what I'm doing when I stamp is I am looking at this square here and this square here, and I am lining up along that. So I'm in that row, okay? Now I'm going to line up this square and this square. I'm going to put my stamp down so that it just is a continuation. Now, if you really are not good at that, you could take a strip of paper and line it up like this. Now I'm going to line up this square and this square, this square and this square. I'm going to do it one more time just to show you. Actually, maybe I'll do it one up. So you can see I've got that row and that row. And the reason I'm doing it like this, which is a little weird, I know, I am keeping my messages nice and straight. And the reason that is amazing is because now I can get out my paper trimmer and I can trim this in a way where I can just cut. All right, so let me show you what I mean. So I have this, it's only 1/4 of an inch. I mean, it's a tiny little thing. I'm going to cut a strip, and look at that. I have that perfect strip, perfect message, right? And then I'm going to trim the top. Do you see how it is completely perfectly straight though? Like my paper is straight along the line and my message is straight along the line. And now I can hold that down and look, my message is perfect on the strip. And now I'm going to do that last one just to show you. It gets a little trickier when you're on this trimmer when your paper gets smaller. But you can see I'm just putting it on the line. I'm going to hold it down really tight, and then so now I have made strips for 3 cards. Boom, boom, boom. And I didn't have to, now I could have made the strips ahead of time and then stamped on them, and sometimes I do. Sometimes I do it that way. But if you're one of those people that has trouble stamping on a little strip like that, then this is a great way to cut a whole bunch of messages all at once. Gosh, I got stuff all over my hands. Look at me. So I've got wishing you lots of, and I think I'm going to say, I'm going to use the Joy stamp. Let me ink that up. Joy. And then I just need to cut that out. 1 card done. You know, one thing that would look really cool on this card is if I wrapped it with a little like hemp or twine. Because I think it would add to the nature look of it. Okay, so, oh, that turned out really neat. I like how it looks. Okay, so there's one. Now, let's get our paper back in here and let's go back to our thing that we made, which should be dry now. Look at that. Shimmer, beautiful. Okay, now I have Harbor cardstock. Look how pretty that's going to be on Harbor cardstock, right? And I'm going to do that same snow trick. I'm going to take that other piece and put that on there. The difference this time, I think I'm going to put a little foam tape at the bottom of that. It doesn't have to be super thick or anything, but I do think that it will look really good. I'll just use some dots. So some of you have been mentioning that you liked my Christmas cookies. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for looking at them. I'm like, I make Christmas cookies for my neighbors every year. And I usually, you know, I used to make them for work, but, sorry, I'm going to trim this just a little off camera here. There we go. So I used to make them for work all the time, but I kind of quit making too much for work. Okay, I have a little deer stamped in mink. I love how he looks. And then I have this little thinking of you, and I bordered it in Harbor, just like this is bordered in Harbor. And then I have this cute little bird that I think I'm going to put in the tree. Wow. That's a wow. That looks really, really good. Now the other thing, I feel like the bird needs just a little bit of color. And so I'm going to take, I don't want to do too bold, but I am going to take this bluebird. Let me get my water brush here, make sure. I might regret this, but I have more birds. I have more birds if I need to. But I don't have them attached yet, so I'm just going to lightly color him in. Don't you think that sometimes they have those little, what are they, like chickadees, and they're kind of gray colored in the winter. Hold down. There we go. Boy, he's little. Anyway, I like him with the blue. I like that card a lot. So I'm going to put that one together. I think this one, it needs glitter or shimmer along the bottom also. It really helps to have like some shine since the trees have shine. The other thing that I thought would be really cool is if you, there was an old card that everybody used to make. That one's really cool too. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? I love how this looks. Okay. There was an old card that everybody used to make where you would take the base and you would take a circle. Let me grab my circle punch. See if I can find it. Gee. Okay. So this is like a, I just grabbed one. This is a 3/4 inch punch. And I'm just going to grab a scrap. And I'm just going to, I mean like barely, I want a little tiny dot of glue. Sorry, I grabbed all my adhesive at the same time. I'm going to put just a little tiny bit of glue like that. And I glue my little circle there. And then I'm going to get out my blues again. And I am going to start around that circle and kind of go outward, like towards the ground, okay? And then you know if that's the moon, it's going to get dark, light where the rays are, but it'll be dark in the shadows. So now I have my Harbor ink, and I'm going to kind of darken it around the edges. Right? And so, all right, so there's that. And you could even add a little black around the edges if it doesn't seem dark enough to you. And that will make it feel a little more night sky, okay? Now this is the part that I always thought was the wow. Let me grab some color here. This is why I try to plan ahead, so you're not waiting for me to grab stuff that I need. Okay. There we go. There's one. This is shortbread, which is brown, but I think if I use it, all right, I'm going to go ahead and peel that circle off, and look at that. It's like very bright. But if I use that where the moon is, and then I need a light touch, kind of do a light blend around it. You know how the moon has like a little bit of a glow? Okay. And you could even take a sponge and like just pounce over. So that's the idea with that. And then again, if you do the snow trick, and put it at the bottom. Now is the time where, let me move stuff because I'm being messy. The stamp set really comes into play, right? So I'm going to move my snow for a minute, and I'm going to get out these trees. And I want to use a super dark color because they would be like a silhouette, like a black, a very dark color. So I'm going to use my black. Sorry, it's off camera a little bit. This is where, if you have a color like the Versifying Clair, I don't know if you've ever used that ink before. It's super, super black. This is a great way to make a forest. But this is the Close to My Heart black. All right. And I love that. Now you can see how there's little grass green. You can use, there is a grass stamp in here where you can add green if you were doing a daytime thing. But I am doing a nighttime thing. So I want to, I think I might just use the little bunny or something. Hold on. What do I want to use? Do I want to use the raccoon, the squirrel, the fox? The fox might be kind of cool. Will he fit nicely on there? Oh yeah, that's nice. Okay, let's do the fox. And again, I'm going to do him in black. Like that. And I think I want to do some branches on the tree, some of the pine sprigs, but I don't want them to overtake everything. So I could try it in a super dark green like pine. I might try it just to see. The idea is to make it look like, you know, a silhouette. And this is going to be, I have the other one too, but so this one's really skinny. There's 3 different sizes. Oh, I like how this looks. That looks kind of cool. I like it with the green. Okay, so I'm going to do this tree too. The other thought, like if you were going to do a day scene and you didn't want all this pine green to kind of overtake your card, you could add in a lighter green like sage and kind of make it not quite so dark. But this is night, so it can be. Ta-da! I love that. This one needs a little. I'm trying to make them skinny trees. Anyway, so you get the idea, right? It's a nighttime scene and the moon is out and your animals out. And if you don't add too much color, you can just do the whole thing, you know, it looks really good in black. I feel like I would need a little tiny bit of color on the stems. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but I just feel like these need a little something here. There. And then if I wanted to add a little color, I could have stamped him in paprika, which would make him kind of this orangey color. I don't want him to be crazy bold paprika, but yeah, I don't know. He might look better with a little color. Especially since he's in the foreground. All right. Now, notice wasn't too careful, but still looks pretty good, I think. All right. So there is that card. And with the moon, looks so cool. Let me get my scratch paper out of the way. And then this would look really nice on one of those pieces of cardstock. Let me see which one. I could add, and I could add my snow at the bottom. I could just make it a really shallow bit of snow. And then, do I put him on blue, brown, or green? Should we try each one? There's the green. Oh, I kind of like that. The blue, The blue, wow, makes it much more of a night sky look. There's the brown. I think the blue is the winner. This is Harbor, and you could pick whichever side you wanted. But wow, 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 wow. Love it. So, okay, so there's this one, and then we did the, I just need to glue everything together. We did the little, my little bird washed out there. We did the one with the winter scene, and then this one. And then I have a whole lot of the little messages over here that I had stamped. Here's the little thinking of you. I love it. I just think these are awesome. So let me know what you think. I want to know what you think. I want to know what you make with the Stamp the Month. And know that next month will be more cutesy style. But look how cool this looks, especially with the different stencils. And the stencils, you could just do assembly line and make this a whole bunch of the same card, you know, if you just cut cardstock down like I did. So that's what I have today, and I think I've updated you on all the latest. So let me know if you have questions. Bye-bye.